Hello everyone out there in YouTube land. My name is Will. This is Will of the Nerds, and we are back with a new deck tech today. And we are doing, we're just going to call it Red Black Enchantment. Enchantment deck. It's not all enchantments. It has it is. It's creatures and regular enchantments. But it is black and red, so it's a Rakdos. I almost forgot what it is. Rakdos colored deck. And like usual, we will start with the lands. So we have swamps. So there's one swamp, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 swamps. And probably 10 mountains too, but we will start with that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, only 6. Okay. I'm actually going to change this, because there's one card in here I already know that I can get rid of. So we are going to change that to 8 mountains. And we have a couple rares. We have 2 different rare lands in here. So we have Dragon Skull Summit, which could actually go in a dragon deck, I guess. But Dragon Skull Summit. If I can spell, as you know, I cannot spell. I do not know how to do that. They are, one's from Commander and one's from the other one. So we're just going to go with the Commander and Blood Crypt. We have 2 of, and they are both from the thingy. Journey? No. Return. That one. It's from that one. Okay, so there is our land. That is our mana base covered. 22 lands, and I'm going to set that off to the side now because I do have an empty sleeve, and I know I need an extra card for it, but I don't remember what it is. And I think I know which card it is, but I don't know off the top of my head, so it's sitting there. Okay. So I have Raider's Wake in this deck. I'm not sure how this fits, so it's going to go off to the side too. Okay, so now we're going to start with this. Revenge of Ravens for 2 of. This is Throne of Eldraine, right? Throne of Eldraine, what does Revenge of Ravens do? Whenever a creature attacks you or planeswalker you control, creature's controller loses 1 life and I gain 1 life. Okay. So, starting out with, if they attack me, they get hurt. I have another enchantment deck too, which I believe is the same colors. But it does stuff a little differently, to be honest. Okay, so let's look at this one. I think I only have 1 of this card, so it's going to go off to the side right now too, for what we need more of. So, Archetype of Aggression, which I believe is a decent bit of money, because it cost me, it took me a while to get it, because it was, it was like $3, I think, when I got it. Creatures you control have trample. Creatures your opponents control lose trample and can't gain trample. For some reason I thought it was haste, but whatever. Next card we have is Palace Siege for 2 of again. You know how I like 2 ofs. If you've watched this series now at this point. I did not spell that right. Palette. Yeah, I did. Is it S-I? S-I-E. There we go. And one's Commander and one is not, but I don't care. At this point, it's a bit too much to keep track of everything. So there we go. $1.50. Choose Cons or Dragons. If you choose Cons, at the beginning of your upkeep, return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. If you choose Dragons, at the beginning of your upkeep, each opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. Either one works. I mean, you have 2. I would probably choose the second one, just to get them to lose a life. Hi, puppy. Puppy's being sad. Hear them whining. Next we have Grave Betrayal, which I do enjoy. This one might actually, you could take out, I might take out and put in for another card. Because there's a deck that I want to do that this fits better in my opinion. When a creature you don't control dies, return to the battlefield under your control with an additional +1/+1 counter at the beginning of the next end step. It's a zombie in addition to its other colors and types. So, I mean, if you get, whenever anybody's stuff dies, you're going to get it. Keyword is it has to die, so they can't discard it or anything. There is a card that whenever they discard stuff, you get it. So that's the one I think I want in the other deck, but I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head. This one's the one that kind of helps with the Grave Betrayal. So we have archetype of Finality. And I have 3 of. I know you're not getting attention. If you can probably hear my dogs whining in the background. We got 2 more. 2 of them are puppies. But this gives your creatures death touch, and creatures your opponents control can't have or gain death touch. So, boom, there you go. It helps with Grave Betrayal, because no matter what they do, if they block your creature, one of them's going to die and you're going to get it. Alright, next we have Blood Sun, so we have 2 of them. This one, I don't know why I spelled sun that way. It just popped in my head. I just thought of blood. Give me blood, son. Donate blood, son. Popped in my head for some reason. I don't know. Don't judge me. And we have 2 of them. This one is probably another card you can get rid of, too. All lands lose all abilities except mana abilities. Unless you're playing somebody that has specific lands, it's really not going to do much. It lets you draw a card, so I mean there's that. This is the one that I do enjoy, that I want to get more of for the other deck. I believe excuse me, I believe this is it. So it's Dictate of Erebos, and I got rid of one of these. I should have kept it, because last I checked they were kind of expensive. Yeah. When a creature you control dies, each opponent sacrifices a creature. The reason I want it is for the second part of that. Because there's a deck I'm making that whenever somebody sacrifices something, I get control of it. So I want another one of these to go in that deck. That way I get it. So it's basically just screwing them over so I get their stuff. Okay, now we have... I'm looking real quick. Doomwake Giant. We only have 2 of. He's kind of something I threw in here because I didn't have anything else to throw in here. I needed like a couple creatures to round it out instead of just enchantments. So, it's not a terrible card by any means, but it's something you could live without. When Doomwake Giant or another enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, creatures your opponent control get -1/-1 till end of turn. It weakens them a little bit. Unless you're playing multiple enchantments per turn, you're not going to kill anything. Unless you're playing against a token deck, which none of my friends really do. My one friend does have a goblin deck, so it would kill all of his goblins. But my other friend has a zombie token deck, and it's not really going to do much unless they play two enchantments a turn, which isn't really going to happen. So next one we have Dreadbringer Lampids for 2 of. Gotta find it. There's a lot of... They're bringing the D. I'm bringing the D in this deck. Like that alliteration. When this or another enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, creatures you control gain Intimidate till end of turn. I do like that. Because a lot of people don't have artifact creatures, and only my one friend plays black. My other one doesn't. They play a lot of blue and green. My other friends, and my other friend plays a lot of blue and or green and white. So they're not really gonna have anything to block with. So my creatures are just going to be able to walk over them. And this card, this is my favorite card out of the whole deck. It's nothing real big or fancy. It's a common actually. Grim Guardian, a playset of them. If I can find where he is. And Journey to Nyx. When this or another enchantment enters the battlefield, each opponent loses 1 life. It does a lot of work. You know, I usually have at least 2 of them out, and you play an enchantment. Like, you're playing at least 1 enchantment per turn, so you're gonna ping for 1, 2, 3, 4 life, depending if you have them all out. You're never gonna have all of them out. They're gonna get rid of 1 of them at least. I think I had 2 of them out, and they got rid of 1, and then a couple turns later they got rid of the other because it was pinging. It was doing a lot of damage. And this is probably my second favorite card in the deck too. Fate Unraveler. I really like this card. If I can find it. I have an uneven amount of cards right now, don't I? Yeah, 49. We'll figure it out. Born of the Gods, Fate Unraveler. Whenever an opponent draws a card, it deals 1 damage to that player. So, like, you're just slowly pinging here and there with these cards. You're not really doing a whole lot of damage. You're just kind of, it's actually it's a pretty defensive deck. It's not very aggressive unless you have the certain cards out to be aggressive. But, yeah. I think this is the only non-enchantment card in this deck. Extinguish All Hope. Extinguish All Hope. 2. And there's a lot of like Journey into Nyx, Born of the Gods in this. There we go. Journey into Nyx. Let's take a look. What do you do? Destroy all non-enchantment creatures. So that's why it's in there. That's all enchantment creatures. You're not going to destroy any of your stuff. You're going to destroy all your opponent's stuff. All right. Next we have Font of Return. We have 2 of them. Boom, boom. Come down here. Journey into Nyx again. 25 cents. Sacrifice it. Return up to 3 creature cards from your graveyard to your hand. So it's nice. It gets you an enchantment to do your damage stuff. And then it has a chance to bring back some of the cards that have been doing some work for you. All right. Next one we have is Thought Render Lamia for 2 of Journey to Nyx. Let's click on it. And whenever this or another enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, each opponent discards a card. So that works with Raiders Wake a little bit. So there's not a whole lot of discard in it. So we are going to do... Alright. I have Exquisite Blood, but it doesn't really fit. So we're not going to put that in here. We have Underworld Dreams. Whenever an opponent draws a card, it deals 1 damage. So we are going to keep that in. That actually does a decent bit of damage. So maybe we throw 3 of these in here. Let's do that. Let's throw 3 in. There you go. Whenever an opponent draws a card, it deals 1 damage to that player. 3 black mana for 3 of them. They are Theros Beyond Death. So that leaves 2 cards left. And there's not a whole lot of discard. So it makes me... I mean... You know, Raiders Wake does actually work because the second part of the card. So we will put 2 Raiders Wakes in here. 1, 2, and let's find it. And if you've seen these before, I think I have this in a couple decks. Whenever an opponent discards a card, that player loses 2 life. At the beginning of your end step, if you attacked with a creature this turn, they discard a card. So, I mean, if you have Thought Render Lamia out, they're going to discard, and then anytime you play an enchantment, as long as you have that enchantment creature out, they have to discard a card. So it could, you could actually get it twice for that. So I do have another Underworld Dreams somewhere. That's the card that needs in this deck. So I have 2 cards that I need to get rid of. So I have Exquisite Blood, which was in here, which doesn't really fit because you're not doing a whole lot of life drain, so it doesn't really benefit a whole lot. And then Hedonist Trove, which, let's see, what does it do? When it enters the battlefield, exile all cards from target opponent's graveyard. You may play land cards exiled this way. And then you may cast non-land cards exiled with Hedonist Trove, and you may cast more than 1 spell this way each turn. So, I mean, they're worth it, but I think Hedonist Trove probably goes better with, like, maybe like a discard or stuff sacrifice deck. Something that puts cards in your opponent's graveyard. But that ends this, so we will save. And I'm going to take these 2 extra cards and put them here with all the other cards I need to go through yet. I'm slowly going through all my Force of Will cards. Okay. Okay, it's 19 creatures, 2 sorceries, 17 enchantments, 22 lands. You might have to take 1 or 2 cards out, throw a couple more lands in there, but yeah, we'll see how that goes. All right, so there's not a lot of early game stuff. That's the bad thing about this deck. Blood Crypts, are they the most expensive thing? $36, $18 a piece? I think so. So this is a $102 deck. Really? Okay. Oh, it's a $100 deck. I would never pay this much for land. I've went over this before. Never pay that for land. Never pay for lands. I'm pretty sure you have friends and shops that will give you free lands. Never pay for lands. Visual spoilers. Again, there you go. You get the look. And let's look at the starting hand. Unless you control a swamp or a mountain. So that, add a card, Dragon Skull Summit, and you might as well play that. It just gets something on the field. Okay, swamp. We can't play this yet. We only have 3 mana. We can't do anything else. Red. So we have 4. What do we look? Fate Unraveler? Probably. Just a ping. Yeah, Fate Unraveler, just a ping. So they draw a card, they take 1 damage. And then Underworld Dreams, same thing. So they're going to be taking 2 damage a turn. So they've taken 3 damage. Yeah, Revenge Ravens. We'll play that. Protect us, too. So next turn comes, pinging for 2 again. Another Fate Unraveler. I really wouldn't play this till a little later. I would maybe play Archetype of Finality now. It kind of gives your things a little more of a threat, you know, since they have Death Touch now. Your opponents might not attack. They might not attack because of this either. Like, you're just pinging a lot. You're not really doing a whole lot of anything. I would kind of save this till maybe you get Raider's Wake. Blood Crypt enters the battlefield. You may pay 2 life if you don't. But, yeah, I wouldn't pay 2 life at this point. Yeah, play that. I would probably drop a creature at this point. I mean, you're pinging. You're at least doing 2 damage per turn. If not, you're doing at least 1, because chances are they have an answer for your creatures. They might not have an answer for your enchantment. And then you have this. So now you're just pinging for more damage. Like, they get rid of stuff and you just throw something else down. It's just pinging. So, I mean, you're not doing a whole lot of damage, but you're just pinging just enough to be annoying. You know? And, like, there's really not a card in here that throws you over the top. You're just slowly pinging away and kind of staying defensive. Taking stuff away from your opponents. You know, making them pay for doing stuff. You know, that's about all it is. And there's the probabilities for everything. And we will end the video there. So if you guys could please like, subscribe, share, hit that bell icon. That way you get notified every time I upload a new video. You can follow me over on Facebook and Twitter. The links to those are in the description. And with that, I'll see you guys on the next one.